Hey everybody, welcome to Comedically Correct. I am Andrew Holiday, and with me as always is
Selena.
Selena. She's so good at, finishing my
Saying my own
sentence.
name.
Yeah,
I have a feeling you only make me say my own name because you don't want to call me Sabrina again.
I'm very worried about calling you Sabrina again because
You should be worried.
I don't know why, because like Sabrina the Teenage Witch got in my head somehow, and for some reason it just every now and then it just like jumps in my brain for no reason. Like right as I'm about to say your name.
I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
even look like her.
No,
Melissa Joan Hart?
no, I was thinking of the new Sabrina.
Oh, I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, her name is I don't know. She's a really bad actress.
I know there's a new Sabrina, but I don't know the name of the actress.
Yeah, that's
Guess
like one
let's
of those
Google it.
shows that like I can watch. Like I have no problem like watching like secular stuff like that. Like I'm not one of those people that's like there's too many witches in Harry Potter, but that
Hmm.
show is so like like every like religious term like you would say they say like the opposite. Like they'll instead of saying heaven help us, they'll say hell help us and stuff like that. And like what in the
That just
name?
sounds
Yeah,
kind of corny.
yeah,
Her
no,
name
it's
is Kiernan Shipka.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
something like that.
assuming she's of Irish descent.
Probably.
Kiernan is a very Irish name, I feel.
Yeah, I think she was on Mad Men.
Early
Um,
life. She was born in Chicago to John Young Shipka and Erin Ann Brennan. Where's her family from?
I don't know. Probably they came over from like the Mayflower or
She's
something.
22. She's young.
Yeah, but she's a horrible actress. Like I think no, like I really think because I started watching that show and like I think like at first they wanted to be like tongue in cheek, so they're like, we don't need like a good actress, we just need somebody that can pull off like funny lines. Like we need somebody as good as any of the people on Friends. Like
Hmm.
that's the quality of acting I think that they initially and then they started going in some dark and kind of like really like um deep storylines and then like so like everybody else like shifted gears and then her like she's just like a paper bag. So like pretty much the entire cast other than her is really good.
Yeah. So she's like a weird set piece almost in
Yeah.
her own show that's named after her.
Yeah, like
That sucks, dude.
she looks the part,
Poor kid.
but yeah, like I don't know. It got to the point where that was annoying in itself. Like any scene that she was in, she dragged it down to where I think
You
that
just
like
fast forward it.
yeah, so like they started like
That's
writing around her.
that's
Yeah.
how I watch Glee, dude.
Oh yeah.
Anytime Rachel starts singing or it's a scene where Rachel's crying, I'm just like, fuck this. Fast forward, fast forward.
I think Glee was like partially my favorite show and partially my least favorite show because I hated the drama and like those like sappy moments in
Hmm.
that show, but I thought the songs were great and I thought the comedy was great. Like
Yeah.
everything Jane Lynch said was hysterical.
Right? That's what I think that's the difference between like millennials and Gen Zs is that like millennials, we grew up being mean to each other, and
Hmm.
that's funny to us. But the Gen Z kids, they're like all nice, which I think is better. I think it's better to be a nice person and to make jokes that don't hurt other people's feelings. But making mean jokes is so much easier.
Yeah, it's easier. It's a lot. I think it's more fun. But the other thing is like I don't know
Not like derogatory, just like, making somebody fun of somebody for being fat or like, but like in a, I don't know,
in like a in like a in a sweet way. Like I
in
don't
an
know.
endearing way.
Yeah, like my family knows that I love them, so when I say mean things about them, they know it's from a place of love. My friends too.
Right.
But like the other thing is, I think that you can't take yourself too seriously. And I think one of the problems when like you can't make fun of anybody for any reason, people start taking themselves way too seriously. And
Yeah.
so like anytime like anything like calls into question like their own view of themselves, they can't laugh it off. And I think that that's bad for people. Like I think that over over a long period of time, we're going to start seeing the bad effects, the ill effects of that.
Um, maybe.
Maybe,
I don't
maybe
know.
not.
Or maybe it'll just become like hacky to be mean to people. And I don't know that that's a bad thing. Like, I think that might be a good thing
Be, I
if
don't
we
know.
can find other ways to be funny that don't cause people pain. Because there are a lot of people that like, because I was bullied in high school and like I mean all through school I was like a weird little fat nerd my whole life, including today. But because I felt that way, I was able to like take that, I guess, sadness that I was feeling and start making fun of other people.
So
And that kind of like taught me how to, I don't know, defend myself.
sure, like that's another thing. Like that's actually a point Chris Rock meant. Is like if you don't teach people how to like deal with bullies, then they're just gonna start running the world, and they
Right.
already kind of do. So
Yeah.
you need people to like telling people that they should be nice to each other doesn't do anything to make people be nice to each other. Like it's just like, and you can shame them online, but what you're doing is you're just bullying people for not conforming to
For
your
being a bully.
yeah. So and like yeah, and some of the most like some of those outraged people are just different types of bullies. So like it's one of those things where I don't believe that people should be a uniform in anything, but the other part is like there's this experiment that they do with mice,
Mm-hmm.
and this is like a theory that I have. Maybe one day I'll write an article about it and be like heralded genius, but like there's like all these mice they're put in a utopia, and it's this experiment that the guy has done it a few times,
Oh, are you
and
talking about Rat Park?
yeah.
The heroin thing?
No, not the heroin thing. It's
Oh.
there wasn't rats, it was mice. I don't know if they called it Rat Park. Now I'm thinking about it, but it's
Or
like a
no,
bunch of
Rat Park is the heroin thing.
oh,
I think they called it Rat Park. But
it's a bunch of mice that they're
okay.
put in there, and they're giving the mice everything they need, living quarters, as much food as they need, and stuff like that. Everything. So there's like no hardship for them. And
Mm-hmm.
after just a few generations, they start going crazy. They stop reproducing.
Mm-hmm.
They start random acts of violence against each other. They start like eating each other, stuff like that. A lot of the mice just get withdrawn and don't go into society at all. And we're already seeing those effects in humans. Like Japan, they're not reproducing at all. Like they're spending millions and millions of dollars just to try to get their population to bump uglies, um, and have children. They're looking at
Why?
like
Wait. Why did they figure out why the mice stopped reproducing?
there's a lot of theories, but they don't know exactly why the mice, because the mice are perfectly healthy,
Uh huh.
but the mice stop reproducing.
And they socialize with each other.
Yeah, they're socialized and they're all with each other. They're all in this mouse utopia.
Mm-hmm.
And at first things start going great, like the population is expanding, everything's going good, and then all of a sudden the population starts decreasing. There's uh the
But the
mice
mice are
start
still happy, or
are
no?
they?
That's
I
what I'm
mean,
asking.
the mice are they get withdrawn, they start eating and killing each other, they stop reproducing, they stop raising their children too, like whatever like little bits that they raise their children at all. And then you actually see this, and so um giving somebody everything that they need isn't actually giving somebody everything they need. One of the things that they did when Hitler was doing all these really horrible crimes against humanity experiments was something that they actually realized, and something that they've realized by accident as well in other situations was um, there's more that kids need than just food and water and shelter. They need human companionship, like touching.
Right.
So the babies that were given everything that they needed, but just weren't ever like played with or given any physical or physical or emotional attention, just died. And then
Right.
the ones that survived had severe mental issues and stuff like that. But my point is, we don't know everything that humans need, and we don't know whether or not like bullying and being an outsider is an important part of life, because bullies don't necessarily feel like just because you're popular doesn't mean you feel great. It doesn't mean you're not depressed just
Right.
because you're
Usually
bullied.
bullies are people that are like deeply unhappy.
Yeah, they might be bullied at home.
Right.
They might. So yeah. Um,
But I don't think like I don't understand. I think I'll have to read about that study because I don't get like I don't know why. Like I understand why people in Japan might stop reproducing because they're not exactly like a utopia. Like they're not really having a great time. There's like a lot of slave labor and stuff like that. So like why if you I know sometimes too they live in really crowded cities
mhm.
where their entire house is like smaller than this room that I'm in.
Well, I'm not saying there's a one-to-one comparison between mice and humans, but I'm just saying that you see similar trends when every physical need is met. But yeah, like you don't
Yeah,
see
but I
those.
don't know that their physical needs are being met in Japan. I don't know that that's like a fair uh
Well, yeah,
like
but the suicide
comparison.
rate in Japan and in China is way higher than any averages elsewhere. I think the worst state for suicide per capita in the United States is Alaska,
Hmm.
and their numbers per capita are nowhere near Japan's.
But that also has something to do with the fact that they don't have a lot of sunlight.
In Alaska,
Or no, they have too much sunlight. Never mind.
they don't,
Yeah,
and
I
then
don't
they do.
know.
Yeah, they have like 28 days of 28 days of, or 23 days a night or something like that. What is it?
Yeah, I
Or
don't
40
think
days a
that
night.
people are I don't think people are supposed to live there.
Yeah, maybe.
Like I don't think it's natural for human beings to live there.
Yeah, like the long dark I think is bad for people. Um,
Yeah. I mean, it's
oh,
bad for like even just working overnights now that it's pretty like it's dark when I go into work and it's dark when I come out of work. It does have an effect on my mood. Like
yeah.
just because I don't see a lot of sunlight.
And that's actually interesting too because like people with seasonal depression, because like it starts getting darker earlier.
Hmm.
It makes me sad when like I just see the sun going down earlier and I was like, oh, the day's over and it's only 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it makes me happy when I see like it's like 7:30 and the sun's still out and we can still play Ultimate. Um, so I think you're right. A little bit it has to do with that, but interestingly enough,
I'm
and I
still not
just
sure what this has to do with mice.
oh no, I was just saying that like um
Now
mice
I'm trying to figure out why they're not why they wouldn't reproduce
no, I'm just saying that
outside of like
in
if I'm a mouse and I feel like I'm happy, I'm having a great time, why would I want to fuck that up with kids?
yeah, but mice don't take care of their kids the same way that humans do. Like a mouse having a kid's not
Yeah, but
ruining their
maybe
life the
a
way.
wife a wife mouse or like, you know, a lady mouse doesn't want to ruin her mouse vagina to pump out some fucking kids.
Did you just laugh at mouse vagina?
Can your mom hear me?
I think so.
Dude, how? Am I not just in your headphones?
You are. I don't know. She has like supersonic hearing.
Oh god. That's embarrassing.
Anyway,
Maybe
um,
she's laughing because she ruined her human vagina popping out you. That's why.
I don't wanna talk about that. I ruined my mom's life. We could say that. But she hates Texas and she's living in Houston right now
Yeah, I
because
don't blame her. I would much prefer to live in Colorado too.
no, yeah, where it's cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just saying that there's like this that having all your needs met isn't necessarily a good thing. And
I don't think I don't feel like that's true. I feel like that's a very I feel like that's something like Elon Musk would say. Like that's something that the ruling class tells to the working class to be like, you don't need all this great stuff that we have. You're not going to be any happier. You should just work and struggle because struggle is the meaning of life. And I think that's bullshit.
no, I think that's bullshit. Like I agree with you that like I was like, oh yeah, like being hungry makes you work harder for food. But at the same time, for
It's not
some
fun.
what?
It's not fun. Like nobody's
Yeah,
having a great time.
yeah, no, like I agree. But at the same time, like I don't think that I would want to live in a society where everything was done for me and I didn't have to do anything on my own. I wouldn't want to live there either. Like I think that there's like a halfway between that.
Well, I don't think that there's a society like that that exists.
I mean,
So
like
how would
not
you even
yet.
know? I don't think that it ever will because capitalism. is God.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like sometimes I think it's good to tell people to deal with their I mean, I don't want to say it like that. Like sometimes in certain situations, you need to tell people like your problem's not that important. Like your issue's not the worst thing in the world. And
Okay. Yeah, like a Karen complaining about literally anything. Like,
yeah,
this line was too long at Starbucks. Can you believe my drink was wrong? Yeah, I can.
yeah.
It's fine. You're not gonna die.
It's like be nice, don't throw it in the lady's face. Get you a new one. It's not a big deal.
Suck it up
Yeah,
and drink it or just get over it. It's your fault you're spending $7 on a fucking coffee anyway, you idiot.
yeah. What was that? What was our topic? Like horrible coworkers, right?
Oh yeah. Do we want to jump to that?
You want to jump to that first?
Yeah.
We can do that, or we can do poor Chris Pratt.
I'm over it. I don't care. Like, I just don't care that much.
Yeah,
Like, unless it's a
it's not a hill that
celebrity.
I'm gonna die on. It's
Yeah,
like
unless it's a celebrity that I'm like really invested in, which I can't think of any celebrities that I'm super invested in. I'm just like, I don't care. I don't care what they're doing.
and I don't want to tell people like the celebrities I'm invested in because people are just gonna start saying things. It's like I have a Google
Oh, you mean
alert.
the 17-year-olds you were talking about earlier?
Oh, you know, there was a reason that we have the pre-show that's not recorded. No, okay.
You
For
didn't
you
say it
people,
was off the record. You got to preface it. I'm a journalist.
I apologize. I took media training. I should have known. Anyway,
Exactly.
just so for the fans, I was following people on TikTok, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm about to graduate high school." And I was like, it was like a TikTok dancer. Like I didn't know. And then like I was like, "Oh, she's a good dancer. I'm gonna follow her." And then she's like, "About to graduate high school. Looking forward to my 18th birthday." And I was like, I probably shouldn't follow her. That's
I
probably
think that's the appropriate reaction to have.
yeah. I was like, I'm a creep. I was like,
That's how you should feel, but there are a lot of people that, like guys especially, that wouldn't feel that way. They'd be like, well, I didn't know, and I'm just going to keep watching, and the second she turns 18, I'm going to start masturbating. And it's like, that's not how that works. Did
you
I ever tell you how I used to have like a really big crush on Selena Gomez when I was a teenager, and I felt like so creepy about it, but we're the
oh,
same age.
well, I don't
So I
think
was
it's
like,
creepy. Like,
I shouldn't be like into her because she's like a teenager, but I was also a teenager.
well,
Like, I think I'm like I'm 10 days older than her.
oh, that's creepy.
10 days?
10 days is
Literally
creepy.
10 days older.
I just looked you up on TikTok, and then I found Selena Gomez. Look her up on TikTok, guys. Selena, common last name. TikTok.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. Like, Selena Gomez is cute, but she's always gonna have baby face. Um, but I think she's funny. One of the ones that I was like wondering about.
I
So I
mean,
had
I just like her because her name is also Selena,
yeah
and I'm obsessed with myself. That's all that is.
yeah. So I'm not gonna say
When
your
I
last
tell
name.
people like my type is like really mean brunettes with pale skin, and I'm like, oh, that's because that's me.
Yeah, because that was like Alex Russo from Witches of Waverly Place.
Yeah. Yep. Because I'm obsessed with myself. Truly.
Yeah, you are the Loki of the comedically correct universe.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Accurate.
watch that show, but Loki falls in love with himself. Anyway,
I mean,
huh?
I don't watch that show, but I have heard about it.
Oh, that's good.
I'm not gonna watch it for like 10 more years. Like, I'm never gonna watch Tiger King. I'm never ever gonna watch it, and I'm not gonna watch Squid Games
It is
because I
so
feel like
insane.
I
Every
can't
one of those things you said is most insane thing, and it's weird that you haven't watched them.
I can't watch them now because I feel like I'm not gonna be able to form my own opinion because I have all this clutter in my head of other people's opinions of these shows, and I want to judge it for myself.
I
And I don't know how to do that unless I distance myself from that noise.
see if everybody's watching it and gives me an opinion on it, I have to watch it. It's just so I have my own opinion. Because everybody's like, this is great or this is the worst. Like everybody's like, Cats is the worst thing that they've ever seen. And I've actually seen Cats on like the stage production of Cats,
Oh,
and it was the
okay.
worst thing I've ever seen.
It's pretty horrible. I watched the movie version like in theaters
Yeah, me too.
because I was like, this is gonna be the worst thing I've ever fucking seen. It's gonna be so bad. And then Jennifer Hudson started singing, and I was like, I'm into it. I love it. But
See,
Jennifer Hudson could sing like the McDonald's like advertisements, and I would cry.
well, see, the thing is, Jennifer Hudson was good. When I saw the stage production, the girl that sung "Memories" in that, Jennifer Hudson's character,
Hmm.
blew the top off. Like the whole play, I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. My brother used to work at that at Denver Center for Performing Arts, so he got free tickets to Cats. So me, my mom, and my brother went, and like the whole time I'm like, this is the dumbest thing ever. But like you hear about Cats like your whole life and how it was the greatest show ever. So like the whole time I was like, I don't want to say anything, but this sucks really bad.
Hmm.
And I wanted to leave early, but I was like, I don't want to ruin it for my mom. And like
Hmm.
my mom's like, I don't want to ruin it for you guys. And my mom, my brother were all just hating it, and none of us were saying anything because we didn't want to ruin it for the other one. And then at the end, like we're like, we all just realized that we could have just left early.
Yeah.
But at the very end, the girl that sang Memories blew the top off, and it was worth the whole price of the ticket.
Yeah. I mean, I think
So
that's what the whole show is about.
is just the one good song,
Yeah, because I
Memories.
feel like the whole time you're just like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Also, I love the word jellicle because it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, but like they talk about it a lot. They're like, it's a Jellicle cat in a Jellicle way, and you're like, you don't know what you're talking about.
You keep saying that word.
It's like, I don't think you know what you're talking about. And they're like, how very Jellicle of you. And you're like, okay, see, that's a new thing. Now I know you don't know what you're talking about.
I do like it. I keep forgetting I'm going to integrate that word into my vocabulary.
Jellicle.
Um, that's not very jellicle of you.
I hope we get sued for it. But yeah, but I knew Cats was gonna suck because I had seen it before, and everybody said it sucked. And because everybody was talking about how much it sucked, I had to see it for myself. Is my point? Is I have to see that. If it
I
sucks, I got to see it.
refuse. I won't. Like, I didn't watch The Office until it had already been, until it was like already in syndication. Like, I didn't watch The Office until like, I don't know, 5 years ago.
I don't know. I like Game of
And it
Thrones before it was cool.
came out a long time ago.
Yeah, like The Office. Once everybody started watching The Office, I had to watch The Office. Once everybody started watching Parks and Rec and 30 Rock, I started watching those shows because like I feel like I'm gonna miss out. Like I don't want people to make jokes that I don't understand. So I need to know what everybody else knows. Everybody was watching Tiger King, and I was like, I gotta watch Tiger King. Tiger King, Tiger King, Chernobyl, and Narcos, the series, are all true stories and the most insane stories you'll ever like hear. So like the
I
whole
want to
time,
watch Narcos.
Narcos is insane. Like
I
the
think I would
shit,
watch that.
they don't make up anything. Like they make up like certain characters and stuff like for dramatic purposes, but like it, any of the actual events that you see, like the insane murders, the blowing up congressmen, blowing up a plane, like all that shit, like you look it up right after like you see it in there, and you're like, that didn't fucking happen. That fucking happened. Pablo Escobar blew up a plane
Yeah.
because he
Have
thought a
you
guy
seen
might be on it.
did we do the article about Pablo Escobar's hippos?
Yes, I think we did.
Okay.
Yeah, they can't castrate all those
Personally, I
hippos.
love it. I would love for some reason, I've always been obsessed with like drugs and gangs and stuff.
Hmm.
And I always used to want to be like a mob wife. But I'm like, I'm not Italian at all, and I don't even think we have like mob people here. So I was like, I think it'd be dope to be like in a gang like that. But then you have to get like gang raped and stuff, and that part's not fun. But I think it would just be an exciting way to live.
Oh yeah, like you have friends that have like stupid nickname, like Two Eyes Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah, I that'd be
Sushi
cool.
and shit.
Yeah, it's like Lenny the Rat, Mary the Snitch. Yeah, no. See, I don't want to get murdered because like somebody just didn't like me, and then it's just they rat somebody out and then blame me, and then I get murdered. It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
there's
that would suck.
nah. I would be too stressed out.
But I
Like,
mean, I'm pretty good at like, I feel like I'm pretty good at keeping secrets.
oh yeah,
I just like, I would tell. The only thing is like, whenever people are like, "Hey, don't tell anybody," I'm gonna tell Kelsey.
ah,
But I feel like that doesn't count.
yeah, but then like they would have to murder her too if like they want to keep the secret a secret.
Yeah, but she wouldn't tell anybody.
Yeah, like they know that
But how are they gonna know that I told her?
because they
Unless
watch
she
our
tells.
podcast. They're one of our 8 viewers.
The mob people that have been like evaluating me for entry all my life.
Yeah,
Let me in. I won't tell anybody.
I don't know. Like I remember like I had a friend that was like a drug dealer, and like he's like, "Hey, I gotta here, stop right here. I gotta say what's up to a friend." And I was like, we have to go out of our way so you can go say what's up to a person. He's like, yeah, I just gotta say what's up to him. And I was like, you can't text him that? And he's like, no, man, I gotta say what's up to him. I was like, all right.
He was dealing drugs.
I was like, that's not enough plausible deniability. Give me a better lie to tell the cops. You dick.
Be like, can we go to a Burger King or something? Can we go get
Yeah.
something to eat so I
Yeah.
can be like, I don't know.
Can you say
You just
he owes
gotta
you
be like,
money?
I just met this man 2 hours ago. I have no idea who he is. I don't know his mother or any of that. He's a stranger to me.
Yeah. His mother Lucy, I've never met her. Nice lady though.
Do you remember that it's like a Vine or something from forever ago, Lala Scissorhands, where she
No.
did Trap Queen?
No,
I'll be a trap queen till the police hit the door. Then I'm telling every single thing that I know. There's a gun under the mattress. There's some crack up in the stove. I don't know this man. We just met 2 hours ago. Never seen that one?
no.
That's one of my favorite. Oh, I love Vine. I miss Vine. I think Vine is so much better than TikTok.
I think Vine is yeah, but Vine took up a ton of my time. So does TikTok now, so
Yeah, but like the thing about Vine is like, do you know how difficult it is to be hilarious in 6 seconds?
yeah, they managed to do it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like these people were actually they had a skill that they just couldn't really turn into anything. Like I think a
They,
lot of them tried to do stand up and stuff and it just didn't work out the same, but
yeah, I think
also I miss
there's
Vine because it was like a
there's one guy from Vine that has a career now.
you can't do crazy conspiracy theory like makeup tutorials on Vine because it's 6 seconds. What the only time you have like the only conspiracy theory you have time for in 6 seconds is just like Bush did 9/11 and that's it.
Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill it. He didn't have time.
Yeah.
He didn't kill what? He didn't kill Kennedy? Who? Who did Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill?
Abraham Lincoln probably.
He definitely didn't kill Abraham Lincoln.
Maybe. I mean, if JFK Jr. is going to come back and join Donald Trump in the presidency, then maybe he went back in time and killed Lincoln. Who knows?
Yeah,
Anything is possible, I guess.
yeah. I'll leave that to you and your QAnon friends. I have actual friends that believe in QAnon.
For real?
Yeah, I've like
Is it like funny or is it like ugh?
so one of my buddies, I was like him and I were chatting, and then I was like, dude, this freaking QAnon stuff is stupid. And he's like, yeah. He didn't want to say anything. And then I just was like going off on QAnon, and he's like, yeah. And he usually talks more than that. And then I was like, do you believe in QAnon? And he's like, he said a lot of stuff that makes sense. And I was like, shut up. So
Not
I was
funny.
like, I don't doubt that there's not shady people and shady things that go on in back rooms with the
Right.
super rich. I don't doubt that. But like the whole like they're messaging each other with like pizza terms and stuff like that. Yeah, you guys are
To eat
insane.
babies and stuff, like that's not.
Yeah, I mean like I'd eat a corgi.
I would eat a corgi if people didn't tell me it was a corgi beforehand, but if they told me, I'd be like, I can't eat this.
I would eat a corgi even if I met it beforehand. They look tasty.
Yeah, they look pretty juicy. That is true.
I would just grab its belly and just bite into it.
That's a bit much.
I would I would give it to a small child and be like, this is your bet now. And then I would eat it in front of that small child.
Jesus.
Yeah. Maybe that's mean. Is that a little too
That's
mean?
a bit much. That's kind of a lot.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize to our squeamish fans. All right, so Britney's free. Thank
Britney's free.
goodness. a weird case of modern day slavery where
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah, like
Because
a
all the money that, like, all her royalties, everything was going to her freaking family. That sucks.
yeah,
The
and
thing
that's why
that,
Jane.
like, the thing that, like, bothers me the most about it is that she was in this situation for 14 years. And only really in the past two years, maybe at the most, people have been paying attention to it. But it's like, how did nobody do nothing for 14 years? And then there are countless people that don't have the kind of support that Britney Spears have that are in these same situations.
Yeah, John Oliver actually had a piece on it, like where I'm sorry about this eye, by the way. I'm gonna be closing a lot. I got surgery. Um, so John Oliver had a piece about like these people that go in and like judge grant some uh conservatorship or power of attorney over these old people who are perfectly capable of taking care of themselves. And there's like a lot of times there are court dates that they were never made aware of where
Yeah.
where custody is granted to a person that they've never met before, and that person starts charging them for taking care of them. So then they go through their life savings, they have to start selling their stuff to pay this person who is supposedly supposed to be taking care of them, and then they dump them in
Like a
home
nursing home.
nursing homes and stuff like that. And then they're collecting all their social security checks, and then they're paying whatever they need to the nursing home and just leaving them with nothing.
Yeah. Isn't there a show, like a movie on Netflix that's the
I
premise of
care a
it?
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rosanna Pike and Peter Dinklage star in it. I haven't watched it. Like
I
it's one of
haven't
those
either.
movies.
I know I remember that was the premise
Yeah,
of the movie.
yeah, those like weird conservatorships, but people that have disabilities, stuff like that, that are collecting checks. There's people that collect those types of people, and then just start collecting their checks and living off those checks, and then giving them scraps and just basically giving them enough to survive while keeping the excess. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty fucked up. And there's no in the manpower is just not there to take care of it and to fix these problems.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
it's
they don't have the resources
yeah.
to do anything
Uh,
about it. And then a lot of times I think that happens to people that don't necessarily have like families. And then too it happens to people like their families do that to them.
yeah. And that's actually a little different. Some of these people actually do have families, and but they're still, and it's kind of shady the way that courts will grant conservatorships to people that aren't in the family at all.
Hmm.
And sometimes they'll grant it to family members that don't care. So like those family members are trying to pawn them off to other people anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then like I don't know, there's sometimes like people that are just put in
It
rough
sucks, dude.
situations. Like I do know I had a friend who like he couldn't take care of it. His mom had like dementia and he couldn't take care of her at all.
Hmm.
And then so he put her in a nursing home, and then he couldn't get her out of the nursing home when he decided that the nursing home wasn't good for her and
Hmm.
they weren't taking care of her. But like there was something going on that like he had a lot of trouble getting her out of that nursing home.
That's
So
weird.
yeah. So I don't know. It's a messed up system. I'll link to the John Oliver thing on YouTube. But yeah, I'll put a link to the John Oliver thing on YouTube. He covers it pretty good.
Yeah. But maybe this whole situation, like, I know not like Brittany needs to have a cause or anything. Like, I think she should just be able to live the rest of her life however she wants. But it would be awesome if her situation turned into a situation where she tried to use, like, used her platform to help other people in situations like that.
Yeah. What else was I going to talk about Britney Spears earlier? Yeah, no, that would be really nice if Britney Spears did that.
I hope she starts performing again. I think I would go see her.
I'd probably go see her. I wanted to see her since like I was a kid. I had the biggest crush on. Here's another question. I had the biggest crush on Britney Spears when I was a kid,
Hmm.
right? But Britney Spears is a lot older than me. But
I don't think.
she was 16 when she did like Oops or Baby One More Time, and I had the biggest crush on her from that. But I was younger than her. That's okay, right? That's not creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think there's like a safety whenever you're like a young kid and you have like a because that's how a lot of kids like discover their sexuality, and I don't mean like you're jerking off to Britney Spears songs. I just mean like because that's how I figured out. I guess I started learning from a young age that I liked girls because I liked all the girl singers and I was obsessed with like watching them and like girl actresses and stuff. That's how I kind of figured it out. And it was always like old, like I remember the first time I watched Honey,
Oh, with
Jessica
Jessica Alba?
Alba. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
I was
get
like, this is I feel differently about this movie than I should probably.
it.
And I think it's like a more like it's you're exploring that in a safe place.
Yeah. Nah, yeah.
As long as that star isn't like pulling a Drake and just turning around and preying on younger fans and stuff.
Yeah, what's the deal with Drake? Freaking talking to Eleven from Stranger Things?
Yeah, it's real creepy.
Yeah, what a creep. Anyway, I never liked him anyway. Like I know this doesn't like matter to like him being a creep, but he's horrible lyricist. I started from the bottom, now I'm here. Bitch, you
Where
started
is
on
he at?
Degrassi.
Yeah, Degrassi's not exactly like the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah,
Degrassi was a wildly successful
yeah. You had rich
TV
parents in Canada.
show. Yeah.
You had a front
Nobody
yard and a
thinks you're like
backyard.
a gangster in Canada.
Yeah. It's like the only street cred you have is that you got shot in Degrassi. You phony.
The song Running Through the Six with My Woes is literally just a song about you driving around all depressed. Like, that's not special.
Yeah. Or last name ever, first name greatest. Shut up. That's the dumbest thing.
No,
Like everybody kept
not
on
even
singing
close.
that. And I was like, yeah, his name is greatest ever. And that's clever.
Is he the greatest ever, though?
No, and I think that he was maybe singing about LeBron, but I don't know. LeBron might be the greatest ever. Definitely can throw a
I don't
punch.
know.
Do you guys anybody see LeBron James punch out that what's his name? LeBron James punched a dude out. It was great.
No idea. I don't watch sports.
You don't watch sports?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, forget it. LeBron James punched out a dude. It's really fun. And then he got suspended for 2 games.
That does sound fun. I like when the violence is obvious in sports because I think sports are violent inherently,
Mm-hmm.
and people just think they're like pure, they're fun, they're like, it teaches kids teamwork and stuff, but I'm like, no, sports are about inflicting violence on other people and dominating them. But,
Yeah,
teamwork or whatever.
I think teamwork factors in to the dominance in violence.
Yeah, sport
It's
is
like
sanitized
we are
war. I'm not a
dominating
fan.
this team together. We are making them cry
Yeah, but
as a
there's like
unit.
that's how tribalism starts. That's the reason that's like football exists in the first place is because in the Civil War, after the Civil War, they had to give all these men something to do to express the rage that they still felt, like to express the anger and the pain and stuff that they felt. So they created football
Yeah,
so that
that
they could beat the shit out of each other in a safe space.
yeah, that's right. That's good, right? Because you can't.
No, I don't think it is. I think
You
you
think you should
learn
just
how to deal
ignore?
with that.
You should ignore your violent tendencies, or you
No,
should
I don't think
like.
you should ignore them, but I think you should find a way to channel them into something that's actually like healthy. I don't know, go for a fucking walk.
I when
Express feelings to your wife. I don't know.
all right. First off, don't talk to women about your feelings. It never goes over well. That is good advice from the non-married Andrew Capen.
Yeah.
Andrew Holiday.
The Are you gonna bleep that part out?
I
How come you
might.
don't
I don't
put
know.
your real name up?
Oh, because like I'm scared of like getting canceled for saying something stupid. So
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll be okay.
I might be okay, but like one of these days I might get drunk and start like saying racist things. Start saying like the Jews are out to get us. I don't know. Someone could
Yeah,
just
but okay, but if you're like, I'm doing this as Andrew Holiday, and then you come out later as Andrew Capen to start performing again, People aren't gonna remember what you look like. Are you gonna?
I might get fatter.
You think
Maybe.
from all the
They won't.
Tootsie Rolls?
Yeah. I'm not gonna eat another one. I don't know why I ate one
Healthy.
earlier. No, like it just I don't want in case like if like something I do ever blows up, in case but like later on like somebody wants to Google me,
Mm-hmm.
like stuff I say that are like jokes and not meant to be taken seriously can easily be taken out of context. So
Right.
so I'd rather
Right, but then you have to just be like, that was taken out of context. I'm sorry if it, like, I don't know. I don't think, I don't know. I don't believe in that.
yeah, no, I part of me wants to be like
I
one of
don't
those
think that
people.
cancel culture is real because I think if you say something fucked up and it hurts somebody, you should apologize. And not apologize because they got upset, but apologize for saying something that hurt somebody. Because you
I
can't really.
I think you should only apologize if you mean it. And I think that you should
If you
only
mean the apology,
yes.
yeah.
But I also think that like if you say something that hurts somebody's feelings, but you didn't have an intent. So it's different. Like if you're just being reckless and saying just horrible things, like that's one thing. But like say if you say something that's maybe from your own experience and then somebody just decides to take that personally, I don't think you owe them an apology. Like you decided to take like I've had jokes that people just heard wrong and got mad at me. Um and I don't think I owe them an apology because they just didn't hear the joke right or they decided to interpret it about something personal with them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like yeah. It's like I don't think that it's like if like a nativity in front of somebody's like private yard offends you, like that's kind of on you. But if like they decide that they want to put that in like the public park, you can say something. Well, okay, no, that's a bad example. I I'm not making a good example. Let me think about this for a minute. But
I
yeah,
don't know. I just think that you should be responsible. Like, you're responsible
yeah, you're
for
responsible for
everything
what you
that you
say.
say and everything that you do. And
I
people aren't
agree.
always going to understand your intentions. And you can explain your intentions, but at the same time, you can say, "I'm sorry that I said this. I said something that upset you." I don't know. I think there's a way to do it to where it's like,
I think that if you start apologizing, then everybody's going to expect an apology. And at some point, and also like, and also like, if the intent is, hey, this is meant to be funny, it's not meant to hurt anybody, and then somebody gets hurt by it, like, I don't know, like at some point, I don't think that you owe an apology to somebody that I don't know. I agree with you that you're responsible for what you say, but that doesn't mean that you're responsible for how people feel about everything that you say. Like when you have like an opinion, there's going to be 1,000 people or like half the people are going to disagree with you. You can say like, hey, I think that this verdict was right or like this verdict was wrong, and people are going to get mad at you, and you don't necessarily owe them an apology for your opinion. See what I'm saying? Like they can be like, I'm personally hurt by your opinion about this, but you don't owe them an apology about that because that's just your opinion. That's your front yard, and you're allowed to do whatever you want in your front yard, as long as it's not like calling for terroristic threats. Like, no, you're not calling for
yeah,
violence against people. You're just saying like,
right.
hey, I
But the
think
thing
this.
is that a lot of times the problem with that is if you want to use language that dehumanizes people, even if you mean to use that language in a humorous way, it still leads to dehumanizing people.
Okay, like for instance, um, I'm trying to think of like a good example.
Like when you say derogatory things about Jewish people and money, it dehumanizes them because it makes them seem like they're not human, like it makes them seem like they're different than everybody else, that they have this inherently evil characteristic that they don't necessarily have. And then it
Sure.
it gives people justification for hating a group.
Yeah, like the whole like fear leads to hate, or fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering. Famous
Yeah,
Yoda quote.
sure.
I think Yoda was the first one to say it. Might be wrong. I'm gonna look that up. Stay tuned, people. I'm really sorry about the eye thing. I get that, but at this,
Does it hurt?
it just it's not comfortable keeping it open.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Um, same thing is, I think jokes unify people more than they tear people apart. And I do think that sometimes people like pick and choose what they're offended by and who they're offended by. So, um, a specific night when a girl got mad at me, there were other comedians that were saying, and I didn't say anything racist. She just made up the ending of one of my jokes and decided to get upset about it. That same night, there were a lot of other people that were saying other things that you could say were a lot more across the line than what I had said.
Mm-hmm.
But she decided to pick me and be pissed off at me for the thing that I said, which actually didn't say. She kind of added to it. And she added intent that I never put there.
Yeah.
And that bothered me. And I think that if people feel like they're owed an apology and they feel that there's a certain way that you need to do things, they're not giving that leeway and that benefit of the doubt for people. And then like a comedian can't really try to really be and I'm talking about comedians specifically, but any sort of like public commentator have trouble being a public commentator if they can't, you know, wax philosophical and experiment with thoughts and ideas without
Yeah, but I
like,
don't think like I think people are like, oh, comedians are modern day philosophers, and I don't necessarily think that's true. I think comedians
I
are
think in
more
some
just
respects, sure, but
court jesters.
okay.
Because the point of comedy isn't to make a comment about society. The point of comedy is to make people laugh. And if you're hurting more people than the people you're making laugh, or if the people that you are making laugh are like white supremacists or homophobes, and you're hurting all these other people, then I think you're doing the wrong thing. Then I think you're not doing comedy. You're just being a fucking bully.
I I would agree with that. Like, and I've definitely seen I've seen the side of that I think that you're referring to, of like people just like going out and saying like just straight up like bigoted shit,
Mm-hmm.
and then like getting mad at the audience for not laughing. Like one guy was like, he's like, if you're offended, I'm doing the right thing. And I was like, I think that you're just saying offensive shit. You're not saying funny shit. I was like, your point is comedy, not to offend people. I just think that sometimes being offensive is part of it. But what I'm talking about is like that real deep social detective type stuff, like where people are talking and like sometimes even playing devil's advocate to the point of like really getting to the bottom of an idea.
Yeah, but I don't think the devil needs an advocate. Like, the devil is
I
categorically not a good guy. Like, he is the great evil. Why does he need a fucking advocate? Fuck that guy.
Well, when I say devil's advocate, I don't necessarily mean uh
Like,
like
the devil, I know, but I'm saying it's
yeah.
not like to be a devil's advocate is like saying, like, I'm gonna fight on the side for evil just for the sake of theory. Like, what? Why?
Well, because that's how you understand, like you understand more about like why you think the way you think. You understand why other people think the way they think. Like you understand more about it. Like somebody in
I
debate
mean,
one
I
time.
understand it, like, trying to be empathetic to somebody, but I don't think that it's something.
Well, first off, being empathetic to a different idea that's not yours is good. And like you're talking
Yeah.
about like we're talking about all ideas here. Like some people think things minorly different, like they prefer cheesecake over red velvet cake. Like
Right.
and then like you can like cheesecake more, but then you can try to empathize with liking red velvet cake. And then you can expand on that versus to I don't want to talk about this, but like the conflict in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've heard relatively smart arguments on both sides of that, and I have no idea what's going on anymore. Like the more I hear about it, the less I know. And like it's the
Yeah.
most insane thing
Well,
in the
that's
world.
why, like, I try to only, like, I try not to talk about something if I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to talk about Israel.
And there's a bunch of stuff that I don't care about, or that like this is outside of my locus of control. It's really outside of my life. And focusing on it doesn't benefit me or benefit the people that are part of it.
Yeah.
Because I can't do anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah,
And I
there.
think that I think the main problem is that everybody thinks they have to have an opinion on everything, and it's okay to be like, I don't know. I don't know anything.
I
I
agree
don't
with
have an
you.
opinion. I don't care.
Yeah, that's what I was saying during like the whole like there's like been a lot of things like lately that I was like I don't know enough to comment on either side, so I'm just not going to. I was like I haven't seen
Yeah. Like
like
the trans people in sports things. I don't know enough about sports to really give a shit. I think we should abolish sports altogether, but I also don't care.
I don't think we should I don't think we should abolish sports. Sports is the only thing keeping me going. Like
The only thing.
the only thing. Like I need the Nuggets to win. I need the Rockies to win. I need the Broncos to stop losing. Yeah. But yeah, no, like see that's one that I think that there's also things where I think that my opinion doesn't matter enough to where the backlash is worth it.
Yeah.
So like I could give my opinion on some hot button topics, but like to our 8 subscribers or whatever, and our 30 listeners on Podbeam and Apples, uh, it would upset more people, my opinion, than it would change minds. And quite frankly, my opinion doesn't really matter anyway because I'm not a decision maker in like sports. Like with trans athletes, my opinion wouldn't matter to anybody. My opinion wouldn't change anything. My opinion is just my opinion, so it doesn't matter enough for me to say it out loud.
Yeah. Well, and I think like that's a good thing to recognize because we don't have that much influence, but I think there are a lot of people who have much more influence that they're like, "Well, this is just my opinion." I'm like, "Yeah, but your opinion actually carries weight and it affects people like directly."
Yeah. So yeah, sometimes like I'll and especially like, you know, people going to Thanksgiving dinner, like I think that when it comes to like my family members and stuff, I'll give my opinion about like hot button issues that I know might upset them. So that's why I'm like I'm very careful and I wait till they have a full belly and I might like just like inch in
And then
there.
you ruin Thanksgiving?
Oh yeah. No, I don't ruin Thanksgiving before I had the 3 bean casserole. Like I want to eat before I get asked to leave.
So wait, you like green bean casserole?
Yes. Yeah. Like when it's crispy and shit. Yeah. Like you have
That's
like
something I can't agree with it. I can't agree.
oh
We're just on opposite sides of the spectrum here. I am
yeah.
anti green bean casserole.
Oh, like you're probably one of those people that likes the cranberry sauce, but that looks like the can that it came in.
Yeah, because it's fucking good.
You like cranberry sauce? Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't eat cranberry sauce.
it's good. My grandma also makes the cranberry sauce, but I prefer the stuff in the can.
Yeah, my grandma will like cut it into thin little slices and put it on your plate and it ruins everything that it touches. That
Oh,
little
I like
red
it.
just seeps into
I'm a
stuff.
fan.
No, no, I hate cranberry
Touch of
sauce.
touch of tartness on your turkey, delicious.
No, cranberry sauce is disgusting. No, but green bean casserole,
No,
like,
garbage. Because you use like canned green beans.
yeah.
They're soggy. They're disgusting. I hate canned. Like the only
Well, no, if you can get it crispy, if you can get like what's that stuff on the top of green bean casserole, mom?
fried onions. French's fried
Fried,
onions.
yeah, the fried onions on green bean casserole. That's what you put on green bean casserole. Yeah, fried
Yeah,
onions,
that's the good
like
stuff. But the green beans in them have a
no,
horrible
the
texture.
whole thing, the whole thing. I get a bite with everything in it, and it's crunchy but soggy. It's good. Yeah,
I don't like the soggy. I don't want the soggy. I hate like if you made it with fresh green beans, I might fuck with it, but it's always the fucking canned green beans, and I hate that.
we'd get in a fight at Thanksgiving dinner.
I think we're
Well, you know,
fighting right now.
maybe we wouldn't. Maybe because like you'd be over there with your gross ass cranberry sauce, and I'd be over there with the green bean casserole, and maybe we just leave each other alone. Yeah, more people
No, I
should be.
think we would fight.
I think we might fight. Yeah.
Yeah. No, my family, when people are like, yeah, I don't want to be around I hate my family for Thanksgiving, or like, it's so awkward, I'm like, I never feel that way. But my family doesn't really talk about political things.
Oh yeah, my family does.
Like, I'm probably the most political in my entire family. And I don't really bring it up unless, like, not that I'm trying to avoid it or anything. It's just like, I don't really want to talk about it because it's going to take a lot of, like, emotional energy for me to do it. And I don't necessarily always have, like, the
Oh yeah.
energy. Like, I just want to eat.
See, my thing is like I can start like I'll have no energy to start with, but then as like I get going, like I start building up momentum, and then I start arguing with everybody. So like I have to keep it down. But yeah, like every now and then like I'll have like an aunt say something that like she knows that I strongly disagree with.
Hmm.
Like
And do you think she says it on purpose?
yeah, like a 100% to like annoy me, and then I'll be like, all right, like and then I'll just be like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
Like
I don't know.
you just
Most people in my family know not to provoke me because they know that I'm not going to lose.
oh yeah.
Like, you can't win this argument. I know more than you do. Because guess what? I don't have kids. I barely have a full-time job. Like, I have so much time to read about this subject. I'm going to know more than you.
Oh,
Most of my family just like gives up after about 15 minutes of me yelling, which I'm like, that's what I thought.
see, yeah, I'm a way better debater than most of my family, but like what their secret is they'll just be like the second I'll make a good point, they're like, whatever, you think whatever. And then they'll end it and I'm like, no, no, I'm winning. Fuck that. You're not leaving yet. I'm winning this shit. So
Plus, I mean, some of my family does also tend to agree with a lot of my positions. I mean, not like, because I'm like kind of communist, socialist. They don't necessarily agree with that stuff. They're a little more capitalist, but as far as like social issues and stuff, we kind of have the same opinion. So there's really nothing to
oh
argue
yeah.
about.
Nah,
But I
I've
don't think like I don't necessarily think that arguing with your family about politics is a bad thing, because I think that's the only way that you can really reach people, like across the aisle or whatever. Like, if you're a
yeah.
very progressive person and your family is very regressive, then talking to them and getting them to understand, because if they hear the message from somebody that they care about, it's going to mean a lot more and it's going to resonate a lot more than if they hear it from somebody they don't care about.
Yeah. One time I made a mention to one of my family members. Oh, I was like, why would you teach your kid that, right? And I don't want to say what she was teaching her kid, but I was like, like that's like I was like, history's on the you're on the wrong side of history there. And like that's all I said to her.
Mm-hmm.
And then like that stayed with her for like a long time because like it because I think it was a Thanksgiving. It was like Thanksgiving a few years ago, but it was like a Thanksgiving. And then we all hung out for either Christmas or it had to have been Christmas. We hung out for Christmas and then she came and then she like gave me like her response to that. So she like given like a lot of thought to it, and it was
Yeah.
like a relatively level-headed response. So like I knew that like me saying that like at least got her thinking about it and moving
Yeah.
in the right direction. And then since then, she said something else that like makes me think that she's no longer putting that shit like down her kids' throats. And I think me just like saying a few things to her like actually got to her because like
Yeah.
she doesn't want like her kid to end up in like a viral video saying things that are kind of really back assward.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how I've kind of got my mom, like, because my mom is like very religious and she's very traditional about a lot of stuff. She's like in her, she's like fresh in her 60s now, so she has a lot of, she grew up in this environment that was very, traditional, a little
Yeah.
bit racist, a little bit homophobic and all this stuff. And I think, because I think the only reason a lot of people change their minds about gay people is that somebody that they know and they care about is gay, and they see that person for who they are and not just for being gay.
I think that's true.
And that's not an easy thing for gay people to go through. I'm not saying that's how my mom was. I don't think my mom was that way at all. But like, that's how I got convinced my mom to, like, because like my mom voted for Donald Trump in the first election because he said he was anti-abortion, and she's Catholic and she's anti-abortion. But my mom traditionally is a Democrat. but she voted for him because of the abortion thing. But then like I fought with her about it a lot when she told me that she voted for Trump, because she said that one of her other friends voted for Trump and her kids don't talk to her anymore. Like her kids don't talk to their mom anymore. And I said, Mom, I can't blame them. I might feel the same way. And she's like, but I voted for Trump. I was like, yeah, that's hurtful. That sucks. This is a man that called your brothers, your father, your husband, your
Rapists,
sons,
murderers.
rapists, murderers, and criminals and drug dealers. That's the man that you voted for, somebody who said that about your son, about your father. But I think that like having, I know it's a bunch of other stuff too that we like talked about. It's kind of too much to get into, but I think having those discussions with her and kind of like pushing her a little bit is what helped her kind of open her eyes to be more empathetic to people that aren't in her situation. Because my mom is like, she's not like filthy rich or anything, but she's very financially stable. So I think a lot of times she doesn't necessarily think about the struggles that other people have to go through.
Yeah.
And just kind of getting her to be more empathetic and to like, because I remember like during the Black Lives Matter protests and stuff last year, I would go to all the protests and I would talk to my mom a lot about it. And at first she was like, I don't think that this is as bad of a problem as it is. I was like, Mom, you have no idea. Like this stuff happens all the time. Like it's something that's been ongoing since the beginning of our country, and it doesn't, like, it's not just going to go away. You can't just ignore it, because one day it could happen to you. I told her, I was like, Mom, your sons and your not me, because look at me.
For those of you guys just tuning in, she's usually this white.
Yeah, I'm always this white. But I was like, this could happen to your sons. This could happen to your daughter. I've been in the store with my mom and my sister where they've been followed around because they look Mexican. And I've never felt that way. Like, people are watching me when I'm at a store because they don't give a shit what I'm doing, because they think, oh, she's white. She's, harmless.
I would watch you before your brothers, probably.
Yeah, but that's because I love stealing. That's why.
Yeah, because you told me multiple times.
Yeah, I do love stealing. I love the idea of stealing from a corporation. Did you see that story? Like 80 people robbed all these stores. I was like, I love it. Honestly, let them all go.
I, as a former asset protection associate for Walmart, am very
anti-stealing.
I'm very anti-stealing. I've been punched in the face by shoplifters. I've been punched in the
That's
neck.
where I draw the line. I think you shouldn't be violent. I don't like stealing if it involves violence, but I like stealing if it's just like, let me sneak this into my pocket. But just to kind of put the button on the things that I was saying about my mom, is like, I think that's the only way that you can really reach people and get them to understand, is if you're talking to people that know you and care about you and respect you.
I agree. Which is why I think,
like, I have a lot of white, and like my brother and sister-in-law, like, they try not to talk to their parents about political issues, but I'm like, no, it's important. Like, that's the only way that you're going to get them to understand, because they don't care about anything I have to say necessarily. They don't care about anything that, some random black person on TV has to say. They care about what you have to say, and they care about you. And if they see that you're of a certain opinion, they're going to understand a little better because they care about you, and they're going to listen.
Yeah. Like, no, I agree with you.
That's my holiday message to
Yeah.
all you
The more you know.
white people out there. Fight with your family this Thanksgiving. That's how you show that you really love them.
Well, yeah, no, like, no, I completely agree with you. Like, I think there's a level where I think that there's certain things you're never going to come to terms on, so you just kind of stay quiet. But then there's like the important things that you should just keep picking away at. And I don't know, like Rome wasn't built in a day. It's something that's frustrating for everybody, but it's better to go through it than not go through it. Yeah, we kind of touched on this last episode as well. But about the stealing, that is actually a fun story. I've been watching a lot of those videos, and like
they all get into their cars in a traffic jam with their license plates. I'm like, you idiots.
Yeah,
run away on a bicycle or a moped. Jesus Christ.
Well, it's actually interesting. in the fact that there's like been a few times where I've gotten license plates of people that ran out, and like the cops won't do stuff. You have to really like put pressure on. When I first started as an AP, like you have to really put a lot of pressure on them.
And I think too, like, cops aren't really interested in solving crimes. Like, they don't give a shit if somebody steals your laptop unless
Cops
you're
aren't,
really rich and
detectives
really
are. You have to
powerful
find a
and influential.
detective. Yeah, your case has to be assigned to a detective.
Yeah, but it also depends, like, how interested is that detective in, like,
Yeah, that's
helping you stop stealing from Walmart. They don't give a shit about Walmart, but they do probably give a shit about Nordstrom's and the Louis Vuitton store.
well, it depends on the amount. So, what I had to do, and there were some detectives that just wouldn't do anything. And actually, a detective that I'm actually personal friends with, she wouldn't do anything for a case that I gave her, and I gave her all the information. I gave all the girls' names. So I think it's been long enough I can talk about this. So I caught the entire Odessa girls basketball team shoplifting. I caught 7 members of the Odessa girls basketball team shoplifting, and
The
I'm
fact
holding.
that doesn't surprise me.
No, it shouldn't, because and they were stealing a lot. Like they were at self checkout and they were buying, like they paid for like $30 or $40 worth of stuff and stole over like $2,000 worth of stuff. And we prosecuted the one girl that and what I would do, by the way, with these like massive like people running out is just grab one of them and have him rat out the rest of the people, because that's what happened. Is
Right,
like,
that's always what happens when you commit, like, the more people you commit a crime with,
yeah.
the more likely you're gonna get caught.
So I caught one girl, and then she called her friends, ratted out all her friends, and then they just brought the stuff back. So we didn't charge them that day. We just got all the stuff back, took pictures and everything. And then the girl that who was actually a personal friend of mine that got the case just decided, she's like, it's a lot of paperwork. And she's like, you needed to itemize all the things, because like you can itemize them all on a receipt, but she wanted me to write them out, and I was like, no, but no other detective has ever asked me to do that. So
Yeah, like, what was the purpose of?
no, they're itemized on the receipt that I made.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, why did
Yeah,
you have to write it out?
I don't. She just was looking for an excuse not to do her work, and
Right.
so I was really upset with her. And then there's like a few other detectives that I was really upset with, because they wouldn't if I didn't do everything for them, they wouldn't do anything. So like there have been times where I've like looked up people on Facebook and I was like, I literally have like their exact name and their address. Like, can you do one little thing for this? I was like, I have video, I have everything. I have video, I have the pawn shop owner say have with their ID when they pawned it. Like a guy stole a TV.
And the cop was still like, yeah, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, no, and he's like, you can talk to my supervisor if you want. And I was like, okay. And like he said, I guess he meant that as a threat, and I didn't. He's like, would you like to talk to my supervisor? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll talk to him. And then he's like, all right. And then so like, and then he just started doing it for like doing everything for me. And I was like, I didn't threaten to go to your supervisor. I'm not Karen. I'm not being all Karen like this. You
Right? You
offered your
offered.
supervisor, and then you're like, all right, I'll help you out. Because and yeah, I've gotten weird excuses from most of the detectives I've worked with were pretty cool, but there were a couple of detectives that I knew that they just didn't want to do anything. They're like,
Yeah.
it's a shoplifting crime, and I was like, yeah, and I don't want them to do it again. I want to catch these guys. This guy pushed me over and then teabagged me. I want him caught. There's a video online of me getting teabagged by a
What
shoplifter.
was the name? Asset protection.
Yeah, asset
We
protection
gotta
associate.
we gotta work that into the all cops are bastards thing. All asset protection associates are bastards.
I was really
Because that's,
nice.
I mean, you're just a cop. Like, you're
Yeah,
just an in-store cop.
no, I'm an in-store asset protection. Technically, I'd be an asset protection officer, is what they call them in California, which I thought is a cooler title than asset protection associate. But yeah,
It's a fucking cop. A cop is a cop.
yeah. Uh, here's a little pro tip for you guys. Um, it is not in your best interest to confess to stuff ever.
Oh, never. You don't talk to the fucking police.
Yeah,
You don't talk to the asset protection, whatever the fuck. You
yeah.
don't
You
talk
just
to anybody. Just don't talk. Just talk. You know what? Keep it to yourself.
yeah. Like most of the
Don't
time I
tell
would
anybody
already
anything.
most of the time
When the fucking grocery store clerk says, "Hey, how are you doing?" Say that's a private fucking question.
it's a personal question, and I
You're
appreciate
violating my HIPAA
you
rights.
minding your own fucking business. Nah. Uh yeah, but like there were quite a few times where because like I would always pretend like I know more than what I did, just in case there was something else. Like if I saw somebody stealing a Snickers, but I was like, maybe they got more, I'd be like, hey, can I talk to you about that Snickers? And then I'd be like, take out the rest of the stuff that you stole, take out everything that you stole in case they have anything else. And there was like a few times where people would just be like, everything, and then like they would be pulling out like tons of stuff, and you're like, ooh, it's like I thought you were just stealing some lighters. There was a lady that stole like over like thousands of dollars worth of makeup, and I seriously caught her at the end just grabbing a soda on the way out. But I was like, that's a big purse.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, can I talk to you about that
Oh,
soda?
when I worked at no,
CVS?
I worked at Pinkies. No, I worked at
Oh,
Walgreens. I'm Team Walgreens. I'm on that blue, you know.
all about West Side?
Yeah. When I worked at fucking Pinkies, I worked at a liquor store when I lived in San Angelo. And this lady would like bring her baby into the store, and it was like, I mean, the baby wasn't like fresh or anything. It was maybe like 2 or 3. And so the
Yeah.
baby would always grab everything that it saw. So it would grab like the lemons on the counter, it would grab like tiny little bottles. And every time the baby would grab like a little bottle, the mom would pull it out of the baby's hand and put it in her purse. So she was using the baby to steal. That I thought was fucked up.
Oh, yeah, I can tell you way worse stories. Yeah, people were there was a lady that was putting DVDs behind her baby in the stroller. I caught I caught somebody doing that. And uh there was another one where the lady almost dropped her kid on me when she tried to run away, and I didn't touch her at all. Like I was like, you're either gonna cooperate or not, like because you're holding a kid, like I'm not gonna try to
Mm-hmm.
grab you.
Mm-hmm.
And she almost like dropped her kid on me just so she could get away. And like yeah, her kid was crying. It was horrible. But we actually had
That's funny.
off-duty PD there that was able to grab her. No, like see the thing is, criminals suck. Like some of the shittiest people I've ever met. Uh like the people that told their kids to shoplift. There were people that had money and shoplifted. There were people that verbally assaulted our employees, other customers.
Yeah, that's the
Um,
only problem that I have with like people stealing is whenever they get aggressive with the workers because it's like none of them get paid enough for you to be sitting here screaming at them because you were stealing. But also like when I used to work at Sally's,
mhm.
there was this one day where somebody, I think it was a lady, she was trying to steal like some appliance, a straightener or something. And my boss literally like barricaded the front door and stood in front of it until the cops came and like was fighting with this lady. And I'm just like, it's not fucking worth it. It's a $60 straightener. Let her go. Like, fuck it. I don't care.
Uh, yeah, not like $60 straightener. Yeah, I
I
mean
mean, it
like I
might
would
have been
never
more
lock the doors.
expensive than that, but I'm like, you're gonna physically get in a fight with this lady. And because my manager was like old, this is an old lady. Like, she's probably already in her 60s and this was like 10 years ago. So I don't even know if she's working there anymore. I don't even know if she's alive. But, I don't know. I just wouldn't risk it. I'd be like, hey, are
Oh
you
yeah, no.
stealing that? And if they were like, yeah, I'd be like, can you not? And that would be the extent of me trying to stop theft.
Yeah, nah. Yeah, I think that you're opening yourself up to a lot of liabilities if like they hurt themselves and they can say it's your fault, or they hurt somebody else. One time, and
Yeah.
this was before I was an AP, but it was at my store. This is actually one of my friends, stopped this kid, and then he ran out, and then he ran into a girl, like she was like 8 or 9,
Mm-hmm.
really hard,
Mm-hmm.
just like plowed into her. And
Your
she
friend
got a
did or the thief?
no, the shoplifter.
Okay.
um Walmart employees aren't allowed to chase like past like 10 feet. And so like, but he ran around to the other doors and just plows into this little girl. And then they managed to get him, and then he went in for assault after that too, like pretty, like it went from like a shoplifting charge to an assault charge, because and he hurt that girl pretty bad. She had to go to the hospital. So,
That sucks.
but like that's also like a thing where like
So
Walmart.
was
Uh,
Walmart liable for that?
I don't know, to be honest. I know Walmart's liable for negligence, but I don't know if you can claim negligence if you don't try to grab the
If it was
like,
something that the customer did.
yeah. So like, because that was another thing that I had to do was like a lot of acts. There's a lot of like crappy people out there. There was like a lady who she like Febreze had spilt, and so like and you can see her like I don't know how she didn't realize she was like right underneath the camera. She was right underneath the camera, and some Febreze had spilt, so she noticed that there was like a spilt Febreze, and it had just spilt like before there, so you can't like really claim negligence on Walmart. It's not Walmart's fault that a customer spilt something and another customer slips on it like a second later.
Yeah.
If you can prove that like Walmart employees were walking by it, which we did have stuff like that happen, then you can prove negligence. But like if it's just like somebody spilt something and then somebody spilt like slipped, like you really can't say that Walmart was being
You have no
negligent.
control over that.
Yeah, but this lady, she noticed that it was wet, and then so she tells her son to go get a manager or whatever, and then she took a knee into the wetness, and then she starts screaming and like. And I remember I was walking the floor when she started screaming, so I didn't know what happened. So I thought that she had like busted her ass, and so I was like, okay. And then I was like, I'll look up the camera angle right now. And then she's like, no, you guys are gonna fucking. She's like, I'm calling the police right now. I'm calling my lawyer right now and stuff like that. And then like we had let her leave, and then I looked up the video and stuff like that afterwards, after all the accident report and everything was like filled out. And I was like, oh, I really wish I'd looked it up while she was still here.
Yeah.
And
But
that
I
would have been
think
like,
too, like, I think if you do a good enough acting job, you
yeah,
deserve
like
something.
she deserves something for that acting, but she wasn't gonna get money from Walmart.
Yeah.
But yeah, nah, yeah, like I got 1,000 stories of like people like, one lady set up a ladder and then fell off the ladder that she
Where
set
did
up
she get the ladder from?
from our hardware department.
Oh.
Yeah, so she grabs a ladder
What
and
is
then
she doing getting on the ladder? She's not supposed to get on the ladder.
she was saying that we should have had it tied up to where she couldn't get on the ladder.
You put the ladder up. What are you talking?
Yeah, she's saying that like we needed stuff to protect her from her own stupidity.
Yeah, no.
And
No
the funny part about that was I caught that exact lady shoplifting like a month later.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, like criminals suck, man. Like it may be fun like watching like corporations like get taken for lots of money sometimes, but that money leaves the consumer. That money, it gets taken away from the consumer, because like Walmart's not going to let that affect their bottom line. That's going to the customers, not to Walmart.
Yeah, but that's the thing about that is that what they're gonna say is like, oh, we have to, because it's the same thing that Walgreens is doing. I don't know that I sent you this article, but Walgreens is saying that they're closing a bunch of stores because of a series of crimes, like a series of thefts that have been happening in a lot of their stores in San Francisco, and it's complete bullshit, because the reason that they're shutting down the stores is they always planned on shutting down the stores to cut costs. The Waltons are the richest family on this goddamn planet. They're richer than
Waltons don't own Walgreens.
No, they own Walmart though. But I'm saying, this is a separate thing.
Oh. Yeah, the Waltons
are the richest family in the goddamn world. They're richer than most royalty. They're shareholders, all them. They make all this kind of money, and then they're paying their employees like barely minimum wage. They can't get any benefits because they only work part-time, and they only have like, fuck. I don't believe that theft should have anything to do with the cost of the products or the reimbursement of the employees, because it's all fucking bullshit. Because you know what? Wage theft,
wage theft is a real thing.
All that stuff is like 10 times as much as like actual theft, like actual like stealing. But those guys
I'd agree with you on that. It's just that one's easier to prove than the other. Like if you steal something from a store, they have you on camera picking it up and leaving. If you
Yeah,
steal
but
wages from a
if you steal
employee,
wages from somebody, you can
oh,
also prove it,
that's
but
happened to me.
the
Like,
problem is that the company has more resources than you.
yeah, no, like I can tell you all the drama. Like one of our topic for today is shitty coworkers, but let's talk about shitty working for shitty bosses.
How long have we been recording? Do you know? Does it say?
Does it say? Hey mom, do you know how long this has been? It's been at least an hour. Do you know how long have we been recording? Why didn't it say? I don't want to stop it just to see, but it's been a bit.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't matter, but we'll just do the, because I have to bake a cake.
What?
I have to bake a cake.
Oh, I totally thought you said something else for a second.
What did you think
Okay.
I said?
What?
What did you think I said?
I thought you said I'd had to drop a steak, and I was like, oh, that's a little TMI.
Yeah, that's what I call my shit, steaks, even though I don't eat steak. That's what I
I
call
eat
it.
steak. Me and Selena are very different people.
Yes, obviously.
I don't
Unless
even
it's
own
the
a
pretty
guitar.
one.
Selena,
How many is back there? 4?
I see 3. Wait,
There's 4.
4. Okay, there's 4 and a keyboard.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, my mom loves
Keyboard,
your set, by the way.
amplifier. Oh, thank you. This is just my little office.
Yeah, my mom, her set.
Oh, and I have I have a record player.
Yeah. And what was it? And she loves the term you coined, or I guess it's not a term, but mouse vagina.
Oh. She just loves the concept of a mouse vagina?
Well, they definitely have them, right?
Yeah.
Like
It's the
they're
same.
not like
I mean,
weird like
vagina isn't
octopuses.
exclusive to humans. It's vagina means, you know,
Well, like
female organ.
somebody was like talking about like there was like a certain type of squid that doesn't have a vagina, but I don't know. I don't want to get into that. Okay, shitty
I
corporations
think that should be all we talk about.
is things that have vaginas and things that don't.
Yeah.
Don't does. Okay. Anyway, Walmart. The bonuses are customer satisfaction, profitability, shrink, and sales. So your sales and your profitability has to be up, your shrink has to be down, and your customer satisfaction has to be up. Customer satisfaction is really hard because when I had worked there before I was an AP, I was in electronics, and constantly late in the evening, they would only have one employee for the entire right side of the store, and there'd be a lot of people that would still need help. So I would have to cover hardware. If somebody needed a key made, I would have to make them a key, and then sporting goods. I would have to cover anything that needed to be done in sporting goods, and paint, and then electronics, photo lab, and one time, well, I guess a few times, I had to help in jewelry. So all that stuff, one employee had to cover.
Yeah.
And they could have and so how much money they're saving? Like there should be 5 or 6 people that they should be paying.
Right.
But then they're saving like hundreds of thousands of dollars just by making one dude do all that stuff. And then I get in trouble for not getting my section done and clean when I had all this other stuff that I had to do.
Yeah.
That wasn't my job.
Yeah.
But I had to do it because nobody else was there to do it.
Right.
So I don't know, people specifically at Walmart, but like everywhere get squashed like that. And like it's cheap to have a skeleton crew and people working really hard, but they don't pay those people anymore. Like they don't even have to pay them the price that they would pay 5 employees, but pay them at least a little bit more if you're going to make them do that much more work.
Yeah.
And
like if you're doing the job of 5 people, you should be paid like 5 people.
Yeah, and being a reliable employee at Walmart kills you because you get called in on your day off all the time, and then you're asked to take.
Fuck that, dude.
Yeah.
I don't even answer if I see that work is calling me and it's my day off, I'm like, fuck you guys.
Yeah. And I didn't mind it, but I didn't even get extra hours out of it. They would make me cut my hours from another day. So yeah.
That sucks.
So I would end up working 7 days, but only like 2 hours on one day. And yeah.
Corporations are the devil.
Yeah. So and they didn't, and for the longest time they wouldn't they would let me get 40 hours a week every now and then, But if you had 40 hours a week, 5 weeks in a row, you automatically got moved to full time, and they would not allow that to happen. So then they would like screw you with like 2 13-hour weeks. And then you're like, all right. It's like,
Walmart is a horrible corporation. That's why
people have
I don't
rent.
vote for them.
Yeah. So yeah, there were a lot
That's
of.
why I don't shop there.
I love going to Walmart. In fact, actually, that's like one of my favorite things to do is just wander around Walmart and catch shoplifters. I'm not joking. I do that for fun.
Why?
Just because it's fun. It's exciting to see somebody and you're like, that guy's gonna shoplift. Which,
I
by
love
the
it.
way, like racial profiling doesn't work. Like those APs don't catch anybody. Like when you're profiling, you got to profile by like how someone's acting.
If
Or
they look
teenage girls.
suspicious.
Teenage girls do shoplift a lot. I will say that. If that doesn't get me canceled.
There is a show, I think it's called Trinkets on Netflix, about a string of teenage girls that steal, and I really want to watch it.
Called
'Cause
Trinket.
I love the idea of, girls bonding with each other and stealing.
Yeah. No, like some of the meanest shoplifters I've ever caught were teenage girls. Like just the most verbally abusive. One of the most verbally abusive people I've caught was definitely a teenage girl. And it was very mean. She was very mean to me and my coworker.
I'm sure you deserved it.
No, I don't think we did. We weren't even
No?
calling the cops. Like we originally weren't calling the cops on her, and then she wouldn't tell us her name, so we had to call the cops on her to just identify her. We're like, just tell us your name, we'll call your parents. And she's like, no, I don't have to do shit. And I was like, all right, we're calling the cops in.
I like that.
Yeah. I bet you would have been best friends with her.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'd be like, good job, girl. Proud of you.
One time, there were a couple of people that were like, it was actually really sad. We caught these girls on their way to a funeral, and then they had to go to jail because they had warrants. And they were on their way to like.
Why would you do? Fuck that.
Well, I didn't. Okay, like first off, I don't have their life story before I catch them, but like I remember like they were these two girls and they were just stealing a ton of makeup. And then like they were like, "Hey, I know this is gonna sound like a lie, but for real, our grandfather just died, and we need to go to the funeral. We're like heading there right now." And I was like, "All right."
And then you let them go, and then they got arrested?
No, I was like, "Here, the amount that you stole, it's just a class A misdemeanor. They probably won't take you to jail for this. So just chill out. I'm gonna put that you're cooperating. They're probably not gonna." And then they both had warrants, so they had to go to jail. Apparently that they were apparently they didn't pay their tickets or something. But yeah, I kind of felt bad for them because they're like everybody in our family is gonna hate us for getting caught shoplifting.
I don't think people should get arrested for not paying their tickets. I don't think people should get arrested unless they're committing violence against other people. Just leave them alone.
Well, what would be the reason that you would pay your tickets if you didn't go to jail for not paying them? Like maybe like make it ruin your
The
credit?
only thing that does is put more burden on poor people. So then you end up with a bunch of poor people in jail because they simply can't pay their tickets. Like it's like classist.
Well, I get that, but I don't know what the right answer would be because like you need some sort of social order. Like you need people to not be able to park in certain places because it would fuck up businesses. You would need people to not drive at a certain speed because it could endanger other people. So you need the ability to, because like they don't write tickets in Houston and everybody drives like ass. I've spent like about a year in Houston now.
I mean, that's like a traffic thing, and that does put people in danger. But what I'm saying is that if somebody, it's just not equal. It's not fair because the ticket system, the price is the same for everybody. And if you're a poor person, you can't afford a $500 ticket. And if you're a rich person, you're like, I don't give a fuck. I got $500. I'll pay this ticket all day.
Oh yeah, like
tickets, you get arrested, you get your fucking driver's license taken away from you, and if you're poor, you really can't afford that because you need to work.
yeah, like Robert Durst, his famous quote when he's like, "They set the bail at $100,000 after he murdered a dude. They set the bail at $100,000, and he's like,
Yeah,
bye
and
bye
he just
money,
paid it.
I'm good."
He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like there was a guy who I think he was accused of using fake money that I don't think he knew was fake, and he had to spend jail, like he had to spend 6 months in jail because he couldn't post bail, and they eventually dropped charges against him
Well, and there are
because they
people
didn't
that
have
were
evidence.
like in COVID, people are stuck in jail because they weren't able to pay their tickets, and a lot of people got COVID. I mean, still COVID's still happening and all, but people were put there because they couldn't pay their tickets because they couldn't afford bond, and then they died in prison, and they shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Yeah, no, you definitely got my vote. Like the prison system needs to be reformed because like you have people that should have still been in jail, like the guy that just ran down a bunch of people in a parade that got out on $1,000 bond, and then you have people that
Yeah, a violent criminal.
yeah, a violent criminal, and then you have people that low end drug charges, tickets, et cetera, shoplifting. I caught a girl who went to prison for 9 years because it was like her fourth or fifth offense, shoplifting. And in my head, I'm like, I mean, like she made her own bed, she's an adult, but at the same time, I'm like 9 fucking years.
Right? Whenever there are rapists literally getting off with probation.
Yeah. So nah, like yeah, you definitely got my vote when it comes to prison reform and the justice
Vote
system
for me. I'm running
overhaul.
for president. How old do you have to be to run for president?
34. How old are you?
I will run for president in 5 years.
I'm running for president in 2 years. Well, you have to wait at least 3 years because there's not going to be an election. There's not going to be an election in 5 years for president.
Okay, so then
2024.
do the math on that.
2024 is the next election.
That's 3 years from now. I won't be old enough.
Yeah,
so
I will.
2028, vote for me.
2024, vote for me.
Okay. Wait, is there an age limit on vice president?
I'm sure there is because you're a heartbeat away from president.
Oh, that's true. I should know, but I don't.
Yeah, we should be smarter. No, so yeah.
I mean, we're comedians. We're not paid to be smart. We're not paid to do anything really.
Yeah, no. But yeah, like working for Walmart, the only thing that I'll say is I learned a lot about myself working there. And I did learn a good work ethic when I was working there. And that's it. Like they screwed me over so many times.
Yeah.
I had some good bosses there, but I had some of the shittiest bosses there too.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'll tell you like 5 reasons why Walmart should have fired me, and then one day I'll tell you why I was fired, and it's ridiculous. The reason I was fired was ridiculous, but there's like 5.
Save that for the next episode.
Yeah, for the next episode because Selena has to drop a steak.
Yep.
All right. Anything upcoming other than Thanksgiving and argument with everybody in your family?
There's a show. When is this coming out?
Probably. I'm probably gonna edit this tomorrow and probably do it by tomorrow. Just tomorrow, Friday. Tomorrow's Friday.
What are you doing for Thanksgiving? Are they bringing you like a meal or?
Everybody, there's so many charities that have brought us like turkey that we're just having a taco bar for Thanksgiving. Like there's like a bunch of charities that just brought us like and then there was like a group of there was a group of high school girls that brought us a bunch of like dumplings and rice just the other day. So yeah, we're getting fed like every night.
Enough turkey.
Yeah, so we're just having a taco bar.
Okay, cool. That sounds fun.
Less
pressure too.
Oh yeah, no pressure at all. And then we just have to make up that we're thankful for stuff.
Right.
How about you? What are you doing?
I'm going to my grandma's. I'm excited.
Yay. All right.
The food's always good.
Yeah, and then we'll link all the stories down in the description below. My name is Andrew Holiday.
My name is Selena.
And this has been Comedically Correct. We are sorry for wasting your time. Bye. Later, Slant.
Bye.